Madison is paralyzed by shocking visions of grisly murders, and her torment worsens as she discovers these waking dreams are in fact terrifying realities. Malignant.
I went to a theater that was I went to the theater this morning to see this.
I'm sorry. I mean, oh, really?
I went to see this today at 11 o'clock, and I walked in. There was absolutely nobody in the theater except for like one person, like serving candy and taking. And I got my ticket, and I went in, and I saw it absolutely alone. Nobody in there but me. When I walked out, there was like still nobody in the theater. I think there was one guy like, and he kept looking at his shoes because his shoes kind of squeaked a little bit. He was walking across the lobby. It was the longest walk. It's like halfway through the lobby. I think that he actually stopped at one point to let the echoes catch up with him, and then it went on. I'm not saying anything about the movie. The movie I thought was amazing.
Really?
I liked it. There's a caveat to that. I don't think it's done yet. That's the only thing is I was sitting there when it ended, and I went, okay, because it all of a sudden was chugging along, and then all of a sudden in a 3-minute period it just kind of like tied some things up, and then it seemed like everybody was just kind of like looking at the camera going
right,
and the camera pulls out to the corner, right, and then it ran credits, and I was like, what? What happened there? So I thought it had a lot of good jump scares. I did like some of the effects through it. So there was a visual effects that if it's used again, I would throw up. But I mean, really, now look me in the eye and tell me that effect could be used again. That
effect could be used. See, I couldn't do it.
See, couldn't do it. See what I'm saying? Couldn't do it. No, you could. It was like so specific, and then it was used like 8 times in a row, and I thought to myself when I saw it the first time, I thought, oh, that's really cool. We'll never see that again.
Right.
So what'd you think?
I didn't like it like you did, apparently. It was a very pretty looking piece of crap, I thought. Maybe a nice way to put it. No, I thought it was trying to be like an 80s or 90s horror movie, like kind of like a Scream or something.
They were pieces of crap too. I know. I worked on them.
And the director usually does. I think he does. He usually puts out pretty good stuff. This one I thought was one of his worst ones, actually. James Wan's worst movies. I don't know. I think somehow he made it interesting. I thought it was actually. I didn't hate it actually. I liked it. Kind of middle, maybe a little bit less than average. Maybe is where I'd put it. I just felt like it was a slasher movie without really a good story. I don't know, for a comedy, I think it was a great comedy. I would give this a really high rating if it was a comedy, because I thought him running and somebody was pretty funny.
That was one of the things. That was one of the things I was going to say is that it had more credibility at the beginning when I didn't know.
Yes, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was.
You know how the old phrase is, I liked you a lot better before I knew you.
Yes.
There was something to, because when I said I really liked it, just like when you said you didn't like it, I think that both of us are going to have to move to the middle for this. Well,
the beginning was amazing. Yeah, I loved how I was like, what the is going on? Which is how a movie should start, especially a horror movie.
Exactly. Exactly. But then we get to the part where
yes.
I don't have to say more than that, right? Yep. Spoiler alert.
It's like a scene from Bambi.
No, you know where they got that whole idea was from Donald Trump, right?
Yeah, it was a spitting image.
Yeah, spinning. But no, I mean specifically from him imitating that.
Oh, yes. Well, another thing I had a problem with was the acting. The main characters were great. Everything that was involved with the lady, the girl, the main character, everybody who's related to her was great. The cops were so bad. It was like, oh, let's find the dollar store version of Wanda Sykes and David Duchovny. Like, I mean, really? And they were so bad.
No, but even worse than that, even was the infatuated lab tech.
Yes.
I mean,
wait till you see this body.
The infatuated, the one that was infatuated with the detective.
Yes.
Who was, that little side story was so not necessary.
It was an attempt at comedy that didn't work out, really.
Well, yeah. You know, it didn't work out because there was very little chemistry going on in between those three. You know, I mean, I mean they honestly seemed like they were just
No, yeah. Yes.
Was feeding them their lines off camera.
Well, you know how Wanda Sykes acts? It's kind of like she's reading really loudly.
Oh, yeah. No, Wanda. Wanda Sykes is never not Wanda Sykes.
But she has that thing that makes her great. And this lady was like Wanda Sykes without that thing.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. No, it was.
And I hate to talk about people's acting because I can't act, so I can't really judge it that well. But
and there was another thing. There was another thing that there was an incredibility aspect to this one scene where everybody gets killed except for the two.
Yes.
And like, and when I say that, I mean. You're talking about like 30 people.
Yes. And they're all evenly spaced.
Evenly spaced perfectly.
With one little blood spot next to everybody. Yeah, I think if that really happened, it would be a lot messier.
Yeah, you kept wondering how any one thing goes on in this film without the repercussions of everything else that happened before it. You know what I mean? I mean,
yeah.
It was like... These things are supposed to be happening in the same area, but there was a certain vacuum quality to it that didn't seem to be expanding to the rest of, the world, and it should have been.
Yeah, no, totally.
But at the same time, there was still some really creepy.
Oh, I like the stuff underground was great. The Seattle Underground and the creepy hospital but the haunted laundry scene. Did you like that one?
Haunted laundry scene.
I can reenact it somehow. You think?
Oh.
Get out of my house!
Okay. Yeah. No, didn't like that. but there, and the thing is although I. There were times in one of the chases through there where the optical creature. Oh
yeah, like underground. Was that really necessary to have the CGI so heavy? Like,
but and the thing is we're supposed to believe though that in the end we're supposed to find out that this was.
Yes, I know what you're saying. Didn't move naturally. Yeah.
Well, how?
And
there were times. Come on. There were times where you're looking at this thing, and as it's running along, it weighs, like 12 pounds.
Yes.
And then 180, and you're going, huh.
And then supposedly, wasn't it going, I don't want to ruin it, but wasn't it going...
Yeah, and that... No.
So the physics didn't really make sense to me.
Yeah,
okay, this actually was...
It was still scary, though.
It was still a scary movie, and it was really pretty, and I love the bird's eye view. How often do you see that in a horror movie lately? The bird's eye view of the whole...
How did
all the rooms?
And here's here's the thing: is
Did you seam them together? Like, do you shoot one and then seam it together somehow?
from where? But from where though? I mean, was that whole thing? Was the whole house a set? I mean,
That's a good question. I don't know. No, but I really like that part.
yeah, I did too. I wondered what it added to the film. I wondered if the cost of that was just there because it was James Wan. You know,
I actually do like the look of this and the way it's all done. And I think that's part of his vision, really. But then I think that I don't know what the hell happened at the end. Like you said, the second half of it was kind of...
well, the second half of it kept getting weirder, and by weirder I mean not only less likely but less likable. Oh, look at what I did there! That was it. That was an amazing alliteration. Okay, not only less likely but less likable.
Yes, that was beautiful.
Boom! Yeah, that's until it all cumulatively came to a one particular room, and there it just stopped.
Yeah, basically.
Right? Am I right about this? It just
Yes.
stopped. It literally.
They ran out of ideas. I pictured a bunch of writers sitting around going,
it was like there was an accountant just off camera going, okay, boys, that's it. Wrap it up.
I think there should have been a shot of a bunch of writers at a table like, what do we do here?
That would have been much more plausible as an ending, I have to say. Because you know what? That would have been the bitter bite of actual reality that this film needed a little bit of. And you could do the French version of it, which is like a man holding up a blank call sheet. A blank call sheet, and he pulls it back, and all of a sudden there's a beach ball that we follow down the beach, down at Seattle Beach, a Seattle Beach,
Of course.
because relevancy is important, and you just see the white as you roll credits. As you roll the invisible credits.
Maybe in the Puget Sound, like the
In the Puget
floating
Sound,
over the
yeah.
sound. Yes.
Yeah, as you roll the Predator credits.
I just thought this was too close. It was like one tiny step away from one of those scary movie. Like it wouldn't be hard to make it a scary movie spoof just by tweaking a couple things.
Well, I don't know.
And then
I still,
I'm gonna somebody here.
I still like pieces of. Things don't have to be completely explained to me because I'm from the '80s. Because you know what? And it's two reasons.
That's a quote of the year.
Well, all the '80s films were either simple or if they were complicated, nobody cared. And nobody could uncomplicate them. And the other things is I'm just forgetting.
Well, maybe that's why when I was watching this, I'm like, okay, it's like they're trying to make a 80s movie or 90s movie, like, early 90s. It's kind of what it felt like.
It's funny. I have a particular script that I'm like a friend of mine is shopping around, and I gave it to a professor, a producer professor. It's the same thing, and he gave me back a very meticulously drawn analyzation of the script, which I thought was funny because it was like niggling points about like the people that are about understanding the motivation of people. And
Also, like character, like
character like skirmishes and stuff like that. And I go, well, yeah, but I told you it's an 80s film because most everybody here is just fodder one way or the other. and I say, and that's an 80s film.
basically, yeah.
Character. I don't know that why we really need to worry about the character development of somebody who's only going to be on the screen like for about 3 minutes and then be filleted like a fish.
Yeah, I don't think that hitchhiker would use the word therapy, or I don't know, or whatever it is. He wouldn't use that word. That's not within his character. He's a drifter, man. He's a drifter. He would never say therapy. Sorry.
I'm giving this one a 2.7.
Yes,
they had some parts that I thought really interesting, and they had an optical device in it that I'm glad that I saw it once in my life, and I'm going to give it a 2.7 if they promise to never use it again.
There's going to be a part 2.
Oh, there has to be. Just get them out of that room.
Well, once they come up with something, they can start the next script.
Once they can figure out how to get them out of that building.
See, I'm like, I think I'm probably at a 2.1 or something. I think I started off at the beginning of the movie.
So we're bracketing right about a 2.5.
Yeah, but it would be if it was a comedy, I'd probably give it a 7. I'm just kidding. Out of a 5, if it was a comedy, I'd give it like a 3.8.
Somebody asked me the other day what my favorite horror film was, and I commented that my favorite horror film probably is going to have to be Young Frankenstein, and I kind of got torn up for that.
That's not surprising.
It was like, come on, if you knew me, you would know that's my favorite. That's one of my. Not only is it one of my favorite films, it's a horror film. So wouldn't that be my favorite horror film?
Yeah, my favorite horror film is any documentary about the Trump presidency.
Exactly. You know what? The same reason. The same reason.
I don't know what my favorite horror movie. That would be a hard one for me to come up with. Actually, I think it's not really a horror movie, but I would think Eraserhead is probably one of my favorites, just because it's so bizarre. And
Eraserhead is one that I saw it. I saw it literally when David Lynch was shopping it around town, and I think I saw it at an art house as an unreleased film, like in a group of student films. And I just don't remember that much about it. I do. You know what I do remember, though? The only thing, I know this is horrible, but I just remember the really long shots of people walking.
Yes, yeah.
All the way across the screen. And I thought, how bold that was. And I thought of so many reasons that we didn't have to watch that whole thing.
That's what's great about David Lynch, though, and also really, little tiny people in radiators and stuff.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's not like his directing style changed.
No, and like the sound design, like in Eraserhead, like you have like sheep noises and stuff. It's like really bizarre things that the kid is making these noises. I don't know. I think I like how uncomfortable it made me watching it. That's what I think I like about it.
Well, yeah. If you mean by comfortable, it's like, how much longer do I have to sit there? Yeah.
No, I mean like disturbing. Like, what the hell is this?
You mean disturbing.
And I don't know what's.
It's a different thing.
You're getting a view of what's inside David Lynch's brain, which
Here's the thing. I did a shot on Vengeance. I directed the shot.
I know. I was thinking about that when you said that. I remember you.
But I'm telling you, I liked that shot. I mean, I'm not kidding. I liked the shot. I kept thinking to myself of other things that I should be doing, and that made me uncomfortable. And therefore, being me uncomfortable like that is kind of what I was trying. It was kind of what I was trying to do on Vengeance. I was trying to make you feel as uncomfortable as I felt when I watched that, and you wouldn't put it in the film. And the weird thing is, I said, well, it's Eraserhead, and absolutely everybody went, "What's Eraserhead?"
I know. Well, yeah, I knew. I was like,
because you were there.
I came over and I said, "That's a cool shot," but it's like I kind of a little bit I disagree, because I think it kind of wouldn't fit with the movie, and it would be a little bit okay, what the hell is that?
Well, you see, but here's what it does. Here's the thing. And it's probably one of the things that bugs me about Vengeance. I mean, I thought Vengeance was great, but I don't think that there was a moment in it that had any suspense anywhere. And I think that it needed that pause.
Well, when you have 85 people you have to kill within, a certain time period.
And I understand, and I totally understand that. But here's the thing: is that pause right there. I think it would have been a slightly different film had that shot been in there, because the film would have been before and after that shot. That shot would have like.
Oh no! Yeah. Well, it showed him like how small he was.
There was a certain sameness, and part of it was that. We had to show them on screen and then kill them, and then show them on screen and then kill them. I mean, that was the way.
Well, it's like you said though, like you're showing them as fodder. So if you show this little tiny guy on the screen, how insignificant he is.
Right. I was trying to do it.
And this big monster comes and kills him. I mean, that's one thing I like about. So I guess I do like. If I was going to do a straightforward horror movie, is my favorite. I hate to say it, but it's probably Halloween, the first one, and it's because it builds up suspense.
I don't mind building suspense if you have a payoff to it, and I don't.
Well, same thing with Jason, creeping up on people. That was one thing I was missing from Vengeance, even though I helped the crew that shot some of those scenes with looking through the camps and stuff like that. They didn't have enough of that. They didn't have enough of the stalking point of view.
I was just trying to break things up, and I think that, and I still, in seeing the film, I still think that it would have been brilliant to have a couple of places in it where you could take a breath. I mean,
well, don't you think that's a common thing for horror movies now? It's like there's really, especially because it's a lot of younger directors that are in their 20s that have never seen Eraserhead and never they would probably be really bored watching it.
Right. No, exactly. No, you're absolutely right. It's kind of it was an 80s thing. I mean, it's
I mean, one of my top 3 movies is Seventh Seal. And if 20-year-old can watch that, I'd be surprised, to be honest with you.
Okay, so are we angry yet?
Well, somebody in my head is telling me, a voice in my head, it just licked me. Somebody in my head is telling me that I think we're done with this, because we have already rated it.
There you go. We are finished. You guys have a nice tickle. I mean, while we're gone, you just have a nice tickle.
What is that? The creepy preschool director?
Yes. Yes.
Somebody needs to make a movie. I'm just planting a seed for any directors out there. Somebody needs to make a movie about murder hornets before somebody else does.
Oh. Good night. Good night, Mick. Good night.
Oh God, here we go.